Have you ever wondered what happens when the quiet, understanding, forgiving empath finally reaches their breaking point? Carl Jung warned us about the shadow side of compassion, the hidden rage behind a lifetime of absorbing other people's pain. And when that shadow awakens, it isn't just anger. It can become terrifying. You think of the empath as gentle, always listening, always forgiving, always the one to absorb pain so others don't have to. They are the peacemakers, the healers, the ones who sacrifice their own well-being just to keep harmony. But Carl Jung warned us, no one can bury their shadow forever. What looks like endless patience often hides a growing storm. What looks like compassion can secretly be self-betrayal. And every empath has a breaking point. It doesn't happen with small frustrations. It happens after years of silence, years of tolerating manipulation, years of carrying everyone else's wounds while denying their own. And then, suddenly something snaps. The shift is terrifying, not because they become cruel, but because the mask of eternal kindness falls away. You see the truth behind their eyes, a truth sharpened by pain, clarity, and rage that has been waiting in the dark. To understand why the empath's breaking point is so powerful, you have to see the life they live before it happens. Empaths move through the world like sponges, absorbing anger, grief, and frustration from the people around them. They take responsibility for emotions that aren't theirs, believing it's their duty to heal, to comfort, to keep the peace. On the surface, they look endlessly patient. But inside, something is happening. Every time they say, "I'm okay," when they're not. Every time they allow someone to cross their boundaries. Every time they swallow words they desperately want to say. All of it sinks into the unconscious. Carl Jung taught that the unconscious does not forget. It stores every unspoken truth, every hidden resentment, every swallowed no. And for the empath, this storage becomes a burden so heavy that one day it cracks open. The world thinks of them as endlessly kind, but in reality, they are carrying a weight no one can see. Carl Jung believed that the parts of ourselves we refuse to face never disappear. Instead, they slip beneath the surface into what he called the shadow. The empath's shadow is not the same as everyone else's. For most people, the shadow might be pride, greed, or jealousy. But for the empath, the shadow is forged from silence. It is years of unspoken anger, suppressed boundaries, and swallowed pain. Jung warned us, what you resist persists. The empath resists conflict. They resist confrontation. They resist saying no. And so, their shadow grows stronger every time they choose peace over truth. The more the empath hides their true feelings, the more explosive their unconscious becomes. And the longer they ignore it, the scarier the eruption will be when it finally comes. This is the danger Jung wanted us to see. If you bury your truth long enough, it doesn't stay buried. It returns with a force you can't control. And when that happens, the empath isn't just hurt. They become unstoppable. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. When the empath finally reaches their breaking point, the change is startling. For years they've been quiet, agreeable, forgiving. People grow used to their softness. They assume the empath will always take the blame, always smooth things over, always be the safe one. But the snap shatters that illusion. Suddenly, the empath speaks with a sharpness that cuts through every manipulation. They no longer sugarcoat the truth. They no longer excuse bad behavior. The boundaries that should have been drawn years ago are now enforced with fire. For the people who once depended on their endless tolerance, it feels like the empath has transformed into someone unrecognizable. But the truth is, this isn't a new person. It's the same empath, only now they're speaking with the full weight of the shadow they've been hiding. The empath may walk away without explanation. They may cut ties with family, friends, or partners who have drained them for years. They may unleash words so brutally honest that others feel exposed, even attacked. And here's the terrifying part. Because they've absorbed so much, they know exactly where the wounds are. Their words strike with surgical precision. When the empath snaps, they don't just get angry. They become a mirror, forcing people to confront truths they've been avoiding. It's not frightening because the empath suddenly becomes evil. It's frightening because their awakening is unstoppable, like a tidal wave that has been building for years in silence. When the empath snaps, they no longer tolerate the games, the lies, or the subtle manipulations they used to endure. They stop rescuing people who refuse to save themselves. They stop betraying their own needs just to keep others comfortable. And this shift terrifies those around them. Why? Because the empath sees through everything. Their entire life, they have been observing, feeling, absorbing the truth behind people's words. They know where others are weak, dishonest, or hypocritical. And when they finally speak with their shadow's full force, there is no hiding. For the manipulator, the abuser, or the narcissist who fed on their patience, the snapping of the empath feels like a nightmare. The gentle presence they depended on is gone. What's left is someone who sees them with piercing clarity and who is no longer afraid to cut them out completely. Jung's warning becomes crystal clear here. The more someone represses, the more violent the return of what was repressed can be. The empath's kindness was never weakness, it was restraint. And when that restraint ends, it shakes everyone around them. Carl Jung's greatest lesson was not to fear the shadow, but to integrate it. He believed that if we deny our anger, our truth, or our boundaries, they don't disappear. They grow stronger in the dark, waiting for the day they finally erupt. For the empath, this means learning to set boundaries long before the breaking point. It means understanding that saying no is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. It means realizing that compassion without limits eventually becomes self-destruction. Jung would remind us, the snapping of the empath is not inevitable. It doesn't have to end with an explosion, with relationships broken beyond repair, or with years of pent-up rage spilling out all at once. The empath's shadow can be befriended. Their anger can be honored as a signal, not a monster. The real transformation happens when the empath learns to live with both sides of themselves, the light of compassion and the darkness of truth. Only then can they give without being drained, love without being used, and heal without breaking. So remember this, the day the empath snaps is not the day they become cruel. It's the day they finally stop betraying themselves. Jung's warning was never meant to terrify us, but to awaken us, to remind us that shadows do not vanish when ignored. They wait, they grow, and one day they demand balance. For the empath, that balance is found in self-respect, in boundaries, in the courage to say, my peace matters too. Because, as Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. If this message resonates with you, don't just keep it inside. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found value in this video, give it a like and subscribe for more insights into psychology, philosophy, and the hidden truths we all carry. And if you're still listening, drop the words, "The Shadow Awakens," in the comments, so I know you watched until the end. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.